Beneath Earth's calm surface, immense tectonic plates drift on molten rock, shaping continents and forging mountains. But this power can unleash devastating earthquakes, sudden violent reminders of our planet's restless energy. Today, we explore 5 tragic earthquakes that reshaped lives and revealed humanity's resilience. Our journey begins in the Caribbean, on the island of Hispaniola, a land of vibrant culture. On January 12, 2010, Port-au-Prince was alive with daily life. At 4:53 p.m., a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck. The epicenter was just 16 miles from the capital, unleashing destruction. Buildings crumbled, trapping thousands as dust filled the air. The aftermath was apocalyptic, with cries of the injured echoing through the ruins. As the dust began to settle, the true scale of the catastrophe was revealed in all its horrifying detail. Port-au-Prince, once a vibrant capital, now lay in ruins, a sprawling necropolis of twisted metal and shattered concrete. Entire neighborhoods had been leveled, the intricate network of streets and alleyways now an impassable maze of rubble. Cars were crushed flat beneath fallen buildings, and roads were split open by gaping fissures in the earth. The landscape was so profoundly altered that even lifelong residents struggled to recognize their own communities, their points of reference and familiar landmarks having vanished in an instant. The human cost was staggering and immediate. In every direction, ordinary citizens, dazed and injured, began the desperate search for loved ones. With formal emergency services completely overwhelmed and effectively non-existent in the initial hours, the first responders were the survivors themselves. Using their bare hands, they clawed at mountains of debris, driven by the faint cries for help emanating from beneath. These were acts of incredible courage and desperation, as neighbors dug for neighbors, strangers for strangers, in a frantic race against time, with aftershocks continually threatening to collapse what little remained standing. The collapse of vital infrastructure plunged the city into a state of paralysis. Hospitals, the very places where the wounded would seek refuge, were among the casualties. The main general hospital in Port-au-Prince was severely damaged, forcing doctors and nurses to treat a tidal wave of grievously injured patients in makeshift outdoor clinics, often without basic supplies like anesthetic, bandages, or even clean water. The breakdown of communication lines meant that for hours, and in some areas for days, the outside world remained largely unaware of the full extent of the horror that had unfolded, isolating the victims in their moment of greatest need. The psychological toll of the event was as profound as the physical destruction. Survivors wandered the ruined streets in a state of shock, their faces etched with grief and disbelief. The sudden, violent loss of family, friends, homes, and the very fabric of their society created a collective trauma that would haunt the nation for years to come. The initial seismic shock was just the beginning of a long and arduous ordeal. The immediate struggle for survival, for water, for food, for medical care, was now underway amidst the ruins of a city that had, in the space of a minute, been pushed to the very brink of collapse. The 2010 Haiti earthquake left devastation beyond comprehension. Over 230,000 lives were lost, and more than 1.5 million people were left homeless. Hospitals overflowed, and thousands suffered life-changing injuries. Makeshift camps became home for many, symbolizing a nation's enduring struggle and loss. The catastrophic outcome of the Haiti earthquake cannot be understood through seismology alone. It is a story deeply intertwined with the nation's pre-existing social and economic vulnerabilities. Haiti was already the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, grappling with political instability, environmental degradation, and deep-seated poverty long before the ground began to shake. These underlying factors created a perfect storm for disaster. The lack of enforced building codes and the prevalence of cheaply constructed informal housing meant that the city was exceptionally susceptible to seismic shocks, turning a powerful natural event into an unprecedented human catastrophe. The international response, while massive, was fraught with challenges. Aid poured in from around the world, but the logistical nightmare of delivering it was immense. The main port was destroyed, the airport was damaged and congested, and the roads were impassable. This republic of NGOs that descended upon Haiti, while well-intentioned, sometimes operated with a lack of coordination, at times bypassing local government and community leaders. This complex and sometimes chaotic relief effort highlighted the immense difficulties in providing effective aid in a country whose own state capacity had been effectively decapitated by the disaster itself. The long road to recovery has been arduous and incomplete. Billions of dollars were pledged for reconstruction, but the process has been slow and plagued by setbacks. Efforts to build back better have had mixed results, with many of the displaced remaining in temporary shelters for years. The earthquake exposed and exacerbated the systemic issues that had long hindered Haiti's development. The subsequent cholera outbreak, inadvertently introduced by UN peacekeepers, added another tragic chapter, claiming thousands more lives and further straining the nation's resilience and its trust in international bodies. Over a decade later, Haiti continues to bear the deep scars of 2010. The earthquake left a legacy that extends far beyond the rubble. It reshaped the nation's demographics, its politics, and its psyche. It stands as a powerful and tragic lesson on how natural hazards intersect with human-made vulnerabilities. The story of the Haiti earthquake is a solemn reminder that the magnitude of a disaster is measured not only on the Richter scale, but by the social and economic context in which it strikes, and the enduring struggle of a people to rebuild their lives and their nation from the ground up. Japan, perched on the volatile ring of fire, is renowned for its earthquake preparedness and advanced engineering. But on March 11, 2011, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off Tohoku's coast, shaking the nation to its core. The quake unleashed a devastating tsunami, a wall of water racing toward the coast, testing Japan's resilience like never before. In 2011, a black wave struck Japan's Tohoku coast, a relentless surge, not a single crest, but a wall of water filled with debris. It swept away entire towns, erasing everything in its path. The human toll was devastating. Thousands lost, communities silenced, a nation left in shock and mourning. In 2011, after a massive earthquake and tsunami, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant faced disaster. The tsunami overwhelmed defenses, flooding the plant and knocking out power. Explosions followed, releasing radioactive material and forcing over 150,000 people to evacuate. The crisis cast a long shadow, transforming a natural disaster into a global nuclear reckoning. The Great East Japan Earthquake was a profoundly Japanese tragedy, but its impact resonated across the globe, serving as a powerful and humbling wake-up call. For the international community, it demonstrated that even the most prepared and technologically advanced nation could be brought to its knees by the sheer scale of nature's fury. The event forced seismologists, engineers, and disaster planners worldwide to reconsider their worst-case scenarios. The concept of a magnitude 9.0 earthquake coupled with a tsunami of such destructive power had been considered a remote possibility in many regions. Fukushima made it a terrifying reality that had to be planned for. The disaster spurred significant changes in global disaster preparedness and response. Nations reviewed and reinforced the safety of their own critical infrastructure, particularly coastal nuclear power plants, ports, and industrial facilities. The importance of multi-layered warning systems, combining seismic sensors with real-time tsunami modeling and clear public communication, was underscored. The event also highlighted the critical role of public education and regular drills, as survivor testimonies often revealed that it was ingrained knowledge of seeking higher ground, passed down through generations, that saved the most lives, sometimes more effectively than physical barriers. Economically, the earthquake sent ripples throughout the global supply chain. The shutdown of Japanese manufacturing, particularly in the automotive and electronic sectors, led to worldwide shortages and production delays. This revealed the intricate and sometimes fragile interconnectedness of the modern global economy, prompting many international corporations to diversify their supply chains to mitigate risks from localized disasters. The event was a lesson not just in geology, but in global economics, demonstrating how a catastrophe in one corner of the world can have far-reaching financial consequences for all. Ultimately, the story of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami is one of profound loss but also of extraordinary resilience. The quiet dignity, discipline, and communal spirit shown by the Japanese people in the face of unimaginable devastation earned the admiration of the world. The meticulous and determined reconstruction efforts in the Tohoku region stand as a testament to a nation's resolve to rebuild and remember. The event remains a touchstone in the study of natural disasters, a tragic but invaluable lesson on the limits of our preparations and the enduring power of both the natural world and the human spirit. In the heart of Italy, the Apennine Mountains cradle ancient villages where life moves slowly and history runs deep. But beneath this beauty, colossal tectonic plates grind, building silent pressure over centuries. On August 24, 2016, that hidden force erupted, shaking the land and forever changing these timeless communities. In a single violent moment, Amatrice's centuries-old beauty was shattered. The ground heaved, ancient stone walls crumbled, and the iconic clock tower froze in time. Survivors emerged into darkness and dust, their world reduced to rubble. Amidst chaos and despair, the bonds of community became their only hope as they searched for life among the ruins. As dawn broke over the Apennines, the devastation was revealed, a town transformed into a war zone. Rescue teams from across Italy raced against time, driven by hope and determination. Every rescue was a battle against the clock. Each survivor found a triumph. But for many, heartbreak and loss marked the heart of Italy's tragedy. In the weeks and months that followed, the true, lasting impact of the earthquake became painfully clear. The immediate crisis of rescue gave way to the long, arduous process of recovery, and the immense challenge of rebuilding not just structures, but entire communities. The towns of Amatrice, Accumoli, Pescara del Tronto, and others were not merely damaged. They were, in a functional sense, erased. The social fabric, the intricate web of daily interactions, local businesses, schools, and gathering places that give a community its lifeblood, had been torn asunder, leaving behind a profound emptiness. The human cost was staggering. Nearly 300 lives were lost, a devastating blow to these small, tight-knit communities where everyone knew each other. Thousands more were left homeless, displaced from the only lives they had ever known, forced into temporary shelters and uncertain futures. They had lost not just their houses, but their heirlooms, their photographs, their cherished possessions, the physical anchors of their memories and family histories. The psychological trauma was deep and pervasive, a wound that would take far longer to heal than the physical landscape, leaving scars of grief and anxiety. The rebuilding effort was fraught with immense difficulty. The historical significance of these towns presented a unique challenge. How does one rebuild a centuries-old community without losing its soul? Debates raged over whether to reconstruct exactly as before or to build anew, with modern earthquake-resistant standards. Bureaucratic delays, funding issues, and the sheer logistical complexity of clearing the rubble and starting from scratch slowed progress, adding to the frustration and despair of the displaced residents who longed for a return to normalcy that seemed ever more distant. Today, the region bears the deep and visible scars of that fateful August night. While new, safer buildings slowly rise from the ground, the ghostly shells of ruined churches and collapsed homes stand as solemn monuments to the power of the earth and the fragility of human existence. The 2016 earthquake served as a brutal reminder of the vulnerability of Italy's priceless cultural heritage and the ever-present geological threat that lies beneath its beautiful surface. For the survivors, the memory of the tremor is a constant companion, a quiet understanding that the ground beneath their feet is never truly still. In the mighty Himalayas, the Indian and Eurasian plates collide, shaping breathtaking peaks and hiding immense danger. On October 8, 2005, this tension erupted beneath Kashmir, unleashing a magnitude 7.6 earthquake. In seconds, villages were destroyed, mountainsides collapsed, and lives were changed forever. The serene landscape became a scene of devastation, reminding us of nature's unpredictable power. In 2005, the Kashmir earthquake struck near Muzaffarabad, turning this bustling city into the epicenter of devastation. Buildings crumbled, schools and hospitals flattened, and the human cost was immediate and staggering. Thousands of children perished as schools collapsed during class. Remote villages were cut off, survivors left without food, water, or hope of rescue. Helicopters became the only lifeline, but for many, help never arrived. The international response to the 2005 Kashmir earthquake was massive, but the terrain made delivering aid nearly impossible. Roads were blocked by landslides and every cleared path revealed new obstacles. In a rare moment, Indian and Pakistani soldiers worked side by side, united by tragedy. As winter set in, millions faced the cold in flimsy tents, racing against time for survival. The 2005 Kashmir earthquake claimed over 86,000 lives and left millions homeless, its scars still visible today. Rebuilding was a monumental task as survivors struggled to restore their lives amid poverty and risk. New towns have risen, but the memory of loss endures, a reminder of the region's vulnerability and the resilience of its people. In the early 1900s, San Francisco was a vibrant city, full of optimism and energy, unaware of the immense power sleeping beneath its streets. Deep below, the San Andreas Fault strained under pressure, waiting to unleash its force. At 5:12 a.m. April 18, 1906, the fault ruptured. In less than a minute, San Francisco was transformed, its streets shattered, its spirit tested by nature's fury. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake was only the beginning. As the city reeled, broken gas lines ignited and small fires erupted everywhere. The fire department was crippled, water mains shattered, and hydrants ran dry. Helpless, firefighters watched as flames, fanned by coastal winds, became a monstrous firestorm, consuming the city block by block. The earthquake broke San Francisco, but the fire incinerated its very soul. When the fires finally died, San Francisco was left in ruins. Over 25,000 buildings were destroyed, and the city's heart became a wasteland of rubble and twisted steel. The true death toll was over 3,000, with hundreds of thousands left homeless, seeking refuge in makeshift camps. Amidst chaos and loss, stories of heroism and compassion emerged, as the city struggled to survive and rebuild. The spirit of San Francisco proved unbreakable. Even as the embers cooled, talk turned to rebuilding. Citizens refused to abandon their home, determined to build it back grander and more resilient than before. The city's recovery became a national symbol of American optimism and resilience. Scientists documented the disaster, leading to breakthroughs in seismology. San Francisco rose from the ashes, rebuilt with respect for its seismic reality, a city reborn. From the shattered mountains of Kashmir to the liquefied ground of San Francisco, and the devastated capital of Haiti, we have witnessed events of unimaginable power. Yet, from this devastation, a powerful story emerges: survival, courage, and compassion. In the face of nature's awesome power, we discover the profound resilience of the human spirit. The will to rebuild and carry on is perhaps the most remarkable force of all. Until next time, take care.